What is going on, YouTube? I am Prepper Princess, the author of Living on Almost Nothing. If you're interested in purchasing my book, I'll go ahead and leave a link down in the description box below. Today we are going to talk about different ways to make extra money. So not everybody has the time to go and get like a pizza delivery job and then have to request time off and save up vacation hours to take a day off. Some people just want to do a day's worth of work, get it over with, get paid, or do something different that doesn't require going into any office, doing anything. So anyway, here are a bunch of different ways that I make extra money, and I have in the past, either in the past or present, and these can add up to a lot of different things. First and foremost, you of course want to get the most bang for your buck, right? The least amount of work for the most amount of money. That's what you want to do when you're working on a side hustle. And no matter what anybody tells you, you should not have to put any money up front in order to make money, if that makes any sense. So it should not take money to make money, if that makes sense. All right, so let me start out by saying, all right, when I lived in California, one of the things that I did a lot of things in California. So California has a really high California redemption value for cans and bottles and stuff like that. So when I was working for Restoration Hardware, across the call center was like not abandoned, but it was an old outdoor mall, clearance mall, like where they had like Oshkosh Bagosh and like JCPenney outlet and home store and stuff like that. And that's where we used to go shopping when I was a kid. But after that all went away, the shopping center started, it had nightclubs, right? Drinking bars, music, stuff like that. Really weird place to have a nightclub, but whatever. And they had dumpsters in the back, and I walk a lot, and on my lunch I would walk just in circles around this place. And I would eventually, what I would do is I would drive my car up, and I had 3 Rubbermaid tubs in my trunk. So one for aluminum, plastic, and glass. And I would go there, and it was Wednesdays and Sundays were the best days to go there. Or maybe it was Thursdays and Sundays. It doesn't really matter. But I did that for a good 2 years. Twice a week on my lunch, I would drive my car up, fill up those tubs, blah, blah, blah. I made like $300 a month. And that is like years ago. So my guess is it would be double that amount because the price of aluminum and all that other stuff has gone up. So it would probably be closer to $500 or $600. The problem with that was all the homeless people in the area saw me and they caught on, and then they started getting to it before I took my lunch hour. So that kind of dried up, but I would still, collect bottles and cans as I went places because I walk all the time. And I would just carry a backpack with me and fill up the backpack with everything I found, cans and bottles, go home, put them together, and then every week or two I would go down to the recycling center and make $50 to $100. So $50 to $100 a week over the course of a month. I know it sounds ridiculous, but if you're a walker like me, I love walking and hiking, being outdoors, and you have a good redemption value where you live, if you live somewhere where you're going to get screwed over, I know there's a lot of places that are like that. My ex lived in Kansas, and they would pretty much like try and like they would say, okay, aluminum is $3 a pound, and they would only give like $1 a pound, and then they would say they had like a fake scale that said anyway. They cheat people sometimes. So just be careful and look out for that. But if you have that option, that's a good option. And I was walking anyway, might as well carry some free money home. People see garbage on the floor and I see quarters, Okay, so another thing, like people throw away furniture, they leave it out on the curb, they put free signs on it. It can be bicycles, stuff like that. That's something I would do too. Again, I walked a lot. And I remember one time I was walking, it was a block away from my house, and somebody had left a kayak out there with a free sign, a kayak. And I was like, what? And I already had 2 kayaks, but I was like, no way. And so I called my ex with her truck to go and pick up the kayak, picked up the kayak, put it on, I, hosed it down and scrubbed it up, put it on Craigslist for $100, and it sold in a day. One day, $100. And all it took was driving 1 block from my house, picking it up, taking it home, and spending maybe 5 minutes scrubbing it up and putting it on the, and then I remember giving my ex, she was annoyed. She was annoyed that I was like, can you come help me pick this up? And she was annoyed, and kind of, not like really annoyed, but like irritated, like, oh, whatever, fine. And so I go, and then when I got the $100, I gave her 50, and I was like, here's your half. And then all of a sudden she was like, anytime you need me to help you pick anything up, you just get, text me or call while you're on your walk, I'll come and help you pick it up, because she got that $50 and it took like no work whatsoever. So that's a big one. A lot of people like to take furniture and refurbish it, and that's great. If you can do that and you have the time for that, go for it. But, like I said before, the least amount of work for the most amount of money. So if you're picking up an ugly piece of furniture and making it pretty, good for you. I love doing that with my personal furniture, but that's one of those things where it's going to require more work and you'll make less money back. So, you're putting in your hours of sanding it and then painting it or staining it, and you have to buy the paint or the stain and the brushes that go along with it and stuff like that. And it's great if you're doing it for yourself, but if you're doing it to make money, you're not going to make a whole lot of money. But you can list those on Craigslist, but Facebook Marketplace is probably the best place to do that. If you have extra cars laying around, time to get rid of them. Now is like the height of when is the best possible time to sell an extra car. Any stuff you've got laying around the house in terms of gold, silver, or guns, I'm still in the process of getting rid of some of mine. I have old silver, and my Patreon members always get first dibs. So I'm actually selling my old stuff, like buffalo head nickels, half pennies, the historical coins that are going to not really do me any good. And I don't know where I got them. I think it was just like a collection of my family collecting them over the years, but the majority of the value in that is in the silver anyway. So I'm selling those, and that's going to get me $200. And I do have a lot more silver, the normal 1 ounce rounds. So I didn't get rid of all of my, I got rid of all my gold, but not the silver. I'm more of a silver stacker at this point, but I'm not purchasing anymore. So here's something that you can do is look for opportunities where you live. So as an example, my grandma, when my grandma was alive, I took care of her until she passed away. And before she moved into full assisted living, she had an apartment which was for, I think, age 55 or older. And they would do things for you, but they didn't do your cooking or your laundry or cleaning or anything like that. And she asked me to do it. At the time, it was $15 an hour. She was paying me $15 an hour. And believe me when I tell you, I know I was getting screwed, because other companies in that area charge $100 to come in and do it. And I was only charging her $15, but it was actually costing me $10 or $15 every time I did it because of the cleaning products, the supplies, carpet shampooer, gas to get there and home, and my time. I was actually just breaking even. And I finally said to my grandma, I was like, look, Grandma, this is actually costing me money to help you. So I'm not going to clean your apartment anymore unless you can talk to your friends who also live here. And I need at least 2 people other than you to clean their apartment on the same day that I clean yours. That way I can at least make a little bit of money and I'm not totally wasting my time. So I would go there on my day off, and usually it was like 4 apartments altogether. So my grandma would have 3 people lined up, and I would schedule them all around, and I would do carpet shampooing, vacuuming, cleaning the windows, dusting, putting away dishes, doing dishes, cleaning out refrigerators, like making them really nice, toilets, stuff like that. I would clean the apartment. And for her friends, I would charge $20. So I would be making $60 plus the $15 for my grandma, but I wasn't really making any money off of my grandma. So about $60 in a day. And it's not, and it was only 3 hours of work, so it's not too bad, but just look for things in your area. Things that people might need. And we are getting in, I read a few articles about people want to stay in their homes, and that's admirable, noble, and of course I would want the same thing. I want to stay in my home as long as I can and not go into a nursing facility. And some people are on the brink because they can't drive to get their grocery shopping. They can't drive to the doctor's office or to the place to get medications. Most people just want to go to CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, a few different places. So take a look around, maybe help with laundry. Take a look around, see if there's somebody who's not to the point where they need help, doling out their medications and bathing, because that does require licensing and additional training. But if somebody just needs, it's not even handyman service. It's just, cooking, cleaning, things, driving them here and there. See if there's something in your area where somebody might need that, but not super assisted living. And you can make some good side money doing that on your days off. And usually they only need help once or twice a week to drive them places or do their shopping and stuff like that. And yes, there's Instacart and DoorDash, but most of the elderly people don't have internet connections because they live from a different era and they don't know how to use those services. So that's why people are still needed. And it is important, and you would be doing a good deed. So that's something that I used to do. Okay, so some random things that I do. Obviously, I do YouTube. I wrote the book on Amazon. So writing a book is completely free. And even if you don't become rich, you're not going to be rich, publishing on Amazon. But if you're making, $50 or $100 a month, you wrote that book one time, and you're consecutively making $50 or $100 a month, and you don't have to do anything, except for the original time of writing the book, and you had a good process, maybe you like writing. Hey, it doesn't cost anything to publish on Amazon. They pay you once you make the sale. So that's something to consider, is maybe writing a book, starting a YouTube channel. I always tell people, your success does not affect my success. So I'm not like one of those jealous people, no, you shouldn't start a YouTube channel because I want more for me. No, if you have a skill that you are better than average at, totally start a YouTube channel, get monetized, do what you can with what you've got. But if you're let's say you're super good at organizing, and you want to show people how to organize, start a YouTube channel. That stuff's crazy good. It's awesome. If you just like being a housewife, be a housewife on YouTube. Where's Rocky? The puppy and Rocky get along now. They're friends now. So the puppy is sleeping in the bed with us now, and she's got free reign, and she's happy as a little clam. So if you're a carpenter, a plumber, maybe you like painting, that's something you can put on YouTube. It's really cool stuff. It'll teach people something, and it's doing a good deed. I would not recommend doing YouTube to bash other people, because there are those channels out there. Please don't do that. Another thing that I do to make extra money, I make about $1,000 a year just bank churning and credit card churning. I've made a video on that, but it's just pretty much moving your money from bank to bank, and they pay you to move your money. So they're like, okay, make $500 in purchases and we'll pay you $200. Or we'll put $200 in your account, or we'll credit you $200. And, you have to pay your bills anyway. You got to pay the electric, the water, the sewer, the gas, all that stuff. Just put those bills on that card for a few months and get your extra $200 and then move on to the next. Whoa. But yeah, go for it. I say, make that extra $1,000. I mean, $1,000 is $1,000. It may not sound like a lot these days, but it's a lot, and that's a big thing. Let's see here. I think that's that pretty much sums it up. Selling stuff please get rid of the stuff you don't want around your house. If
If you don't want to go through the hassle of putting it on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, or eBay, you can donate it, but don't forget to get your donation receipt, and then you can put that towards your taxes. If you have a checking account, look for an interest earnings checking or savings account. So I have Capital One, and I believe it's at 2%. But hey, you know, if you're making an extra $5 a month, that's $5 a month, $10 a month. That'll pay you for your Netflix subscription. You know what I'm saying? Or it'll get you a really good, awesome cup of coffee, like a giant bucket of coffee, a barrel. Just coffee. Yes, coffee. Something to do, something to think about. And, you know, sell your stuff. Just sell it. I have an eBay page. What I do now, the majority of my stuff is selling solar units that I've done reviews on. And that is very little effort for a large dollar amount. And we're in a place right now where electricity is going out all over everywhere. Puerto Rico, Cuba, here in the United States. And it's like rolling blackouts, and you got stuff going on with so many natural disasters, and electricity is going out like more now than I've ever heard of, and it's more expensive. It's like doubling in cost all the time. So right now solar units are selling really well, and I get to do a double thing. So I get to give somebody a great unit at a discounted price, like 25% off the full price that they would purchase somewhere else. I know it's in good working order, in good condition, and they get to have the safety and security of having a solar unit. So I don't feel bad about selling solar units that I'm not using. At one point I had like 23 solar units, and I don't even have enough extension cords to use 2, let alone 23. So I decided to sell them all. And then I'm like, hey, wait, why am I restacking these back up? It's time to like get rid of this stuff. And every time I get a new unit, I just cycle it through the process, but I make sure that I have a decent unit on me at all times in case of emergency. So it works both ways. It works positively in all directions. All right, that is what I've got for you today, folks. I hope that you have a super great day. I am having a great day, and I want you to have a great day too. Do what you can with what you've got. Prepper Princess out.